Hey, all right, good morning. Well, okay, not such a good morning. The weather has really turned foul here. It's stormy, as you can see. This guy behind me, although he's in a kind of a bad mood, a warring kind of mood, he did promise not to kick me or to hit me with his fire arrow or land on me or anything like that. So I think for the time being, I think I'm safe. So we're going to get into a few other mythological ideas here and some stories. We'll start with the centaurs. That's what this guy is behind me. He's a centaur. You can see he's half horse, half man. And we're going to talk about them today. All right. So the wild and vulgar, or vulgar, some people say vulgar, the wild and vulgar centaurs did not honor any of the gods. They were half men and half horses, as cunning as wild men and as savage as untamed horses. Like this guy. I mean, look at him. They had inherited the worst dispositions of both. The first centaurs had come tumbling out of a cloud that their father, Ixion, the king of the Lapith people, had married, mistaking it for the goddess Hera. Zeus had created the cloud to test the ungodliness of the wicked king who wanted to carry off Hera. Ixion was severely punished for his ungodliness. He was condemned to whirl about forever in the underworld, tied to a flaming wheel. But his offspring, the centaurs, remained on earth as a scourge to the Lapith people. So they don't really treat the centaurs kindly. They don't characterize them as being very good, very decent. But that's not true of all of them. The centaurs lived without law and order, stormed over fields, trampled crops, and carried off the Lapith women. And they ate raw meat. The young centaurs were no better than their elders. They were poorly brought up by parents who kicked them and spanked them and left them to fend for themselves. There was one centaur who was kind and wise and was fond of children. His name was Chiron. Though he looked like other centaurs, he wasn't related to them at all. He was the son of Cronus, the Titan, and was immortal. Chiron was famous as the greatest teacher in Greece. Kings brought their small sons to him so he could raise them in the true spirit of heroes. In his quiet cave on Mount Pelion, he taught them manly sports and how to use the healing herbs of the earth and how to read the stars in the sky. All his pupils returned to their homes, exceeding their fathers in courage and knowledge. One day Apollo brought to Chiron his little mortal son, Asclepius. His mother, a Lapith princess, had died, and Apollo asked Chiron to raise the boy. The Greeks used to, by the way, have an old saying, give me the boy, I'll give you the man. And what that meant was that whatever happens to you as a child will change the way you are as an adult, or it will cement the way you are going to be as an adult. So childhood was very, very important to the ancient Greeks. All right. Asclepius grew up in Chiron's cave, raised with loving care, and being the son of Apollo, he soon surpassed his foster father in his knowledge of healing the sick. When he was grown, he left Chiron's cave and went down to the mountain to help the people of Greece. He became the first great physician. Physician is a doctor. People flocked to him from far and near, and many who came on crutches went away skipping and dancing. His patients adored him and showered treasures upon him. And it wasn't long before they worshiped him as a god and built temples in his honor. Asclepius put beds in his temples, and they became the first hospitals. There he went about from bed to bed, pleased to be looked on upon as a god, leaning on a staff entwined with sacred serpents. Serpents knew all the secrets of the earth and often told him the causes and cures for diseases. Sometimes he put his patients to sleep with a magic draught and listened to what they muttered in their dreams. Their words often revealed to him what caused their ailments, and he could then find a cure for them. Asclepius had a wife and 7 children. And all the children followed in their father's footsteps. His sons were his assistant physicians. His daughters were his nurses. Hygeia, one of his daughters, washed and scrubbed her patients from morning to night. And it was a marvel to see how fast they regained their health. Before Hygeia's time, it was thought that soap and water would kill the sick. And what do we say if you have good hygiene, right? Hygeia, hygiene, that's where that comes from. Asclepius grew famous, rich, and pink-faced as time went on. So he grew so skilled in his art that he could even bring the dead back to life. The Fates became upset and complained to Zeus that they measured and clipped the threads of life in vain. Hades, too, was angry, for he was being cheated out of dead souls. Apollo went out to Zeus, pointed out to Zeus how much good his son was doing for mankind. And for a while, Zeus was lenient, but when Asclepius accepted gold for bringing the dead back to life, Zeus hurled a thunderbolt at him. He didn't like that. Nothing but a small heap of ashes was left of Asclepius, the first great doctor, but his temples and his teachings of medical science remained, and the gods put his image among the stars as a constellation. Apollo was furious with Zeus for killing his son and wanted revenge. He did not dare to raise his hand against his mighty father, but he slew the Cyclops who had given Zeus the thunderbolt. Zeus, in his turn, had to revenge the Cyclops. He punished Apollo by making him serve for a year as a slave on Earth. Apollo found a good master and suffered no hardship. But the gods on high Olympus missed him and his music, the 9 muses most of all. All right, and we will do the 9 muses tomorrow. Also keep in mind that if you're looking at the picture, you'll see a staff with the serpent coiled around it. And if you look at the sign for hospitals, you'll see that they have that serpent entwined around a staff also. And that's where this comes from. So it's kind of interesting to see all of the things that Greece, ancient Greece, contributed to our world and our society right now. All right, until then, you guys have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. All right, take care. Till then, ta-ta, bye-bye.